Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Brad, and I want to talk a little bit about happiness and what it is versus what it isn't. Um, to me, one of the most important distinctions that I had to learn was that happiness, in a lot of different examples I could point to in my own life and in my clients' life, is not so much about getting more things. It's actually about removing things that are poisonous and removing poisonous people. One toxic person can ruin your day and does. All it takes is for, say, somebody who, like, I'll give you an example. I had a friend for a long time who, we did everything together. Let's just say we saw each other every day. And we saw each other every day because he was available and I didn't have, much else of a social support. But anyway, this friend, let's just say I would go and I would tell him about what I was excited to do. But rather than support me and be encouraging and say nice things, I would be like, dude, so crazy. I just thought of a new way to go out and, I'm learning about ClickFunnels. Oh my God, like it turns out you can make a funnel and from there you can literally make, hundreds of thousands of dollars if you just learn how to drive traffic and convert them right. It makes sense. Dude, I'm so excited. And he would just sit there and he would pick his fingers and be like, uh-huh. And then he'd be like, hey, yo, Joe, what's for lunch, man? And just completely ignore me. So what I realized was that, once I needed to become happy being alone with myself and improve my life and cut that guy out. And when that guy got cut out, I realized, oh my God, I'm actually a lot happier. Like everybody I listen to, all the messages that are surrounding me are good. Like everything I put into my head is positive. I have a phone which is tied to YouTube, and all I listen to on YouTube is positive, informative, intelligent shit. And he's no longer in the picture. Now it's just me with my positive self-talk and this stuff on YouTube. Whoa, oh my God, all of a sudden, wow, now I don't have anybody negative in my life. Holy shit, this is awesome. And then, you keep going. And I found that, one of those toxic people can really fuck you up. Just like even a little comment like that will deflate you. And it'll suck the energy out of you because you're excited, you're pumped up, and you're like, dude, I'm so pumped about this. And then they make you feel small, and you're going to go from this to, okay, great. You're going from like, dude, I think I can do it, man. I think you really fucking do it. To like, fuck. That's the state change that you experience with those people. Or worse, there are people that are, people like that are actually really bad because they're covert and maybe they have enough cool things about them to keep you coming back. But if somebody hurts you and is not supportive, they're not your friend. They're toxic, they're negative, they gotta go. So I found that the more, as I weeded people out of my life that were toxic, once I got to a point where there was almost nobody toxic in my life, and I'd have spans of days where all I heard was positive, encouraging shit from people who like my stuff and people who are friendly and kind and supportive. I don't have a family that's supportive. They pretend like they're supportive, but when I'm down, they kick me. I recently lost one of my biggest clients, and I asked my dad to refer me some work. And look, man, if he didn't want me to share this, he shouldn't have said this to me. But he's like, well, maybe being an entrepreneur is not for you. Maybe you need something more stable. Not everybody can handle the ups and downs of being an entrepreneur. And, he said, maybe school isn't for you. Maybe entrepreneurship isn't for you. He's discouraged me every step of the way. But what is for me, according to my dad, is being a barber or, being a policeman. Those were pretty much the career advice. The advisory he's given me is be a high school teacher, barber, be a policeman. Meanwhile, this guy is very successful. It makes, damn near $1 million a year. So, anyway, once I stopped needing that, I stopped needing those people. I became okay with me. I became happy with what I was doing. And actually, in part, it's kind of tough because I actually had to, hit that number, like $10,000 a month, get off all hormones and anabolics and stuff. Those two things did a ton for my happiness. Get around, join the WeWork, join the community, of intelligent entrepreneurial people, and even if a lot of them are bullshitting and not really doing it, at least they're trying. At least they were willing to slap money down and come to a co-working space, to try. And there are a lot of successful people here. Rest assured, there are a lot of people who are very, very successful and very, very intelligent here. So, it's, again, we think that something else is going to make us happy, but a lot of times it's removal of those toxic people. That is what's going to make us happy, and in a much more sustainable way. Because think about it, nobody, if you're just in a room by yourself, you don't have to take abuse. You can listen to what you want to listen to. You can listen to the music you want to listen to. You can listen to the commentary you want to listen to. You can do what you want to do. And you are in control. You don't give another person control of what you're hearing. And for a lot of men, what I found is they've spent their whole lives being, beaten dogs. What is it, like 95% of all teachers in public school are women. So they have women authority figures. There are many, many single mothers raising, kids. And a lot of men grew up in those households, or where the dad was very, he was stripped of his power and basically was like cucked or pussy whipped, so to speak. And, there was very little encouragement for men. Most men that I know, they were told why can't you just sit still and be quiet and be like a little girl and just be, fucking do this bullshit schoolwork, which means nothing. And if you don't, then you're going to be given ADHD meds and Ritalin and Risperdal. Dude, they put me on antipsychotic Risperdal. They legit put me on an antipsychotic when I was a kid because, some of these doctors I've been to have not done a single thing helpful for me. Actually, they've done bad things for me. They put me on SSRIs and stimulants like Ritalin and Risperdal and antipsychotic. It's like, what the fuck? So, you spend your whole life, dealing with being beaten down, particularly as a man. And women have the opposite problem. Women are being artificially inflated. They're princess, they're queens, without actually ever doing anything or accomplishing anything. And the problem with that is that they walk around with this. I see it all the time. I live in New York, and you'll take opening a door, for instance. You'll hold open a door for a girl. She'll just zoom right in, face down, totally entitled. Yeah, I know. Like, Becky's such a bitch yesterday at the club. Like, she didn't even I know. Like, who cares? Like, yeah, it's just so what if I fucking didn't call her back? Like, she should be able to figure it out, right, bitch? This nasty entitled attitude. If that doesn't make sense to you, I understand, but that's a very common type of behavior. You see, like, this narcissism in women. It's just, whoa, unbelievable. Men are beaten dogs. Women are like they're crazed almost. Like, they have this frenetic, crazed energy where they're telling the women to be something they're not, like boss or a nasty girl. Like, have you seen this trend? They try to encourage women to be nasty gal. I don't get it. I don't get that trend at all. I don't understand it. I don't know why they're pushing this on them. Like this degeneracy and this, over hyper masculinization of them. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me, and it's not good for society as a whole. So it's crazy. So the bottom line is, and the reason I say this is because you've got a society of men who are just they've been beaten dogs for years. If you take a guy who goes through college, dude, I could not imagine going to college in this environment. I was actually in college a couple years ago, and the way that they would openly have disdain for men and talk badly about men, and openly have disdain for whites, and talk down about whites, and be like, fucking white people, be like, you and your toxic masculinity, and guys are just they just smile and take it, out in the open, like the ultimate racism, the ultimate fucking example of racism and sexism. And they grow up and they just, you get exposed to that and indoctrinated, and you get beaten with it enough, and you're like, yes, I am useless. I am a toxic male. I will do what you say. And you really start to believe it after a while. I was lucky enough to have such a horrible experience with school and family and what I saw it do to men that I was like, fuck this, never again. I was like, fuck this. I am never going through this again. I don't care what I do. I do not want to grow up like that. I do not want to be like what I saw at home. And, I never want to let a woman or anybody control me. And little did I know, I was still controlled by women, and I still had that happen to me with women. It took me a long time to figure this stuff out and begin to, understand, like, look, it's not about, and this is where, like, the PUAs get it wrong. PUA and learning to pick up girls is a skill set. It's like money. It's like, be able to go out and socially interact with people so that you can go and cold approach and get and meet women that have sex, and then also get and meet men and be cool and social and funny enough to, have a good relaxed vibe so you can close deals and you can actually laugh and have fulfilling relationships with people, which was not something I knew how to do when I was growing up. I was so intense. I was so serious, I was so awkward that I could not have a good time. And the only way that I could do that was through learning to pick up stuff. That was genuinely how I learned to chill out and be cool. But, what you see and what was happening to me by doing that, even though I felt relaxed and I was enjoying myself, I felt happier than I'd ever felt in my life. Still, what I noticed was that I was not doing anything except going out and cold approaching girls and just laughing and being retarded. And, I wasn't improving my value. The types of girls that I was getting were not like, they were definitely, I was fucking some model chicks, like some really, really hot girls. Guys are fucking lusting over these girls. And, I got the opportunity to sleep with some hot girls, but I wasn't really doing anything for my value. And PUAs, they think like, oh yeah, so if I cold approach enough girls, and if I, do this with enough different girls, then, that means I'm high value because I developed the behavior to be high value, and these girls like me, so that means that I won. And they just go with that feeling of like, oh yeah, I get acceptance from women and validation from women. That's good enough. That's all that I need. That's actually not all that you need. That's not what you need. You don't need that. You don't want that. Trust me, you don't want that. That's not, you want, as a man, to quote that dude, Fight Club, Brad Pitt's character, Tyler Durden, we're a generation of men raised by women. Maybe the very last thing that we need is another woman. And it's kind of true. You don't need the approval of other women. You need the approval of yourself, and you need to have other men in your life, or women for that matter, who are very accomplished, who you can impress. If you can find somebody who is very accomplished, very successful, and you can impress them, that's what you want. That's the key. That's what you're looking for. You're not looking for the approval of women. So That's about it, guys. It's been 15 minutes. I'm really liking this. I'm actually really enjoying getting back into making content, and I miss doing it, and I want to get up early, and I want to make content now. I'm really enjoying this. I'm really loving the way my life is going, man. Like, since I dropped the last client that I had, and thank God, I learned a lot, but thank God, I moved on to way bigger and better things. I've developed entrepreneurial systems that are 100,000 times better, so much more freedom, so much more everything. But what I want to say is that I've forgotten how much I love making content. I love making content. I love talking. I love sharing my experience. And now I'm on the other side of the fence. I'm about to be 30. In August of next year, I'll be 30. And, I'm coming from a very broken place. It took from the time where I'd say maybe 12 till 28, I was in hell. My life was hell from those years. And you know what? That's going to be the next video. I'm going to go and I'm going to record that on the DSLR right now and upload all this content right after, and then get my blog pumping. I think that I've got something here that, I think will help a lot of men. And that's what's important. Is I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you guys be free and be happy and not not go through some of the stuff that I went through.